right, now listen up.
3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
That's great.
This is ridiculous.
99.3 The Truth.
You can't handle the truth right now.
Ooh.
That's the stupidest thing I ever heard.
Let's do it.
Hit it. It's time for Mac's World.
And here we go.
Everybody, let's get it started. Let's get it started.
Call Mac 244-0077 or text 809-0993.
It's showtime, everybody! Showtime!
Exclusively on 99.3 The Truth.
6 minutes after 3 o'clock on the 20th day of June in the Lord's year 2016. We are back, you are back, and it's all good again. I miss you guys. I mean, I know I took an extra day off on Friday. I'll probably do it this week, too, because Chris and Frank and Bob just, well, not so much Bob, but Chris and Frank, I just don't give them enough airtime, and they complain about it, and they Facebook about it, and Bob and I console them, and I even hired a psychiatrist for Frank to try to get him to, understand that he's part of a team. It's not the Frank's World show.
You had to hire a psychiatrist to get me to open up.
Yeah. Now, that's funny right there. I don't care what anybody says. That's funny. All right, so we are back on a Monday. Weiss Merkel Financial next hour. I've got a whole bunch of questions that I've put together for him because now they got me thinking. And our phone lines will be open at 244 well, they're open now. 244-0077. And it's your voice I want to hear. We are going to have a specific topic a little bit later on. And I'm going to ask you what you think about the Perry Meadows deal. Because depending on the way you look at it, we've been taken. Every single person that lives in Polk County, Iowa. All those years ago when Bob Vanderplatz and all these people, Branstad was one of them too, who said, now listen, this is a what do you call it? It's it starts out little and then it just explodes. And some people could see that. Hey, if we give these people a pari-mutuel license, before you know it, they're going to want slots, and then they're going to want tables, and then they're going to get greedy, because that's what this story's about. It's about greed. And now millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars are owed to who? The one guy you don't want to owe any money to, the IRS. If you've ever tangled with the IRS, and I did in 1994 and 95, you don't tangle with the IRS. You just don't. And the bigger you are, the harder you're going to fall. Now, I had a good lawyer, and he beat some sense into me, literally. Because, I just wanted to fight him. Government, blah, blah. But, man, they got it going. You think the FBI and the CIA's tough, you take on the IRS. They're not going to let up. Because they are owed millions and millions and millions of dollars. So, did you see it coming? Did you know? Did you say back in 1980, I'm going to say about 86, I think is when Perry Meadows came in? 89, something like that. I know it was the late 80s. Everybody in the restaurant and hospitality industry in Des Moines felt it the moment Perry Meadows opened. The moment they opened, we watched our happy hours go down. We watched our late afternoon food sales went down because they all went out to watch the ponies. So every single local entrepreneur who owned something in the hospitality industry felt the bomb that was pari-mutuel racing. But you own it. You, the taxpayers of Polk County, own it. So what do you want to do with it? 244-0077, that's the number, or you can get a hold of us at the Service Legends Truth text line at 515-809-0993. All right, a couple news stories. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, they were pumping money into the, at least the local government, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all that money is going to be gone now.
And charities.
Tons
of charities. I mean, you saw Prairie Meadows logo every time somebody was trying to raise money for this or the sculpture park downtown, the Papa John's sculpture park. I mean, I don't even know all the things. I should probably, look them up and look at all the charities. I think probably every single charity, faith-based, non-faith-based, pagan, atheist, agnostic, children, adult, desire, All of it.
Right.
Because that's because we as Polk County residents then said, oh, well, I can handle what's going on out there.
So long as they're giving to charity.
As long as they're giving money and,
Sure.
I get my piece of flesh,
And they are paying taxes to the state and local government, right? No? Is that the problem, or is it just that they weren't paying taxes to the federal government?
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me go through a couple news stories.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into that story. And anybody that wants to talk about it should give us a call at 244-0077. Because I feel, ouch, I feel like it kind of came back and bit me in the behind. Because there's a problem. And eventually, Polk County, you and I are going to pay for it. So...
Sure, Satan will donate to some charities, too, if it'll benefit his cause.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Dateline, Des Moines, Iowa. You remember last week I told you about Deanna Marie Gleam? She is accused of causing a November crash that killed 2 men. During a court hearing, Gleam was ordered by a judge not to drive. Duh. On June 10th, she was arrested in Lucas County for driving a vehicle while intoxicated. By the way, they claim she was intoxicated while she was driving and killed those 2 men. The arrest prompted Polk County prosecutors to ask a judge to revoke Gleam's bond and send her to jail until her trial in November. Judge Jeannie Vault approved the request at a hearing this morning. And Deanna Marie Gleam, G-L-I-E-M, Gleam, now has a arrest warrant out for her. And I'm sure she'll be picked up and put in jail. You think that's justice?
Well, the way if I understand the story right, of course, I don't know all the details, but she had been convicted of an OWI, drinking while driving, multiple times. This wasn't the first time. And now, in this last time, 2 people are dead because of it. I think something should be done. And I don't think a little bit of jail time till November is all that bad.
Frank?
I mean, it could be worse.
I agree.
That's all you got is I agree?
Yes, that's all I got.
Robert, this is right up your alley. You've been testifying as an expert witness in alcohol-related court cases for 30 years.
That's correct, and I've testified about 1,000 times.
Wow. So what would your recommendation be for Deanna Marie Gleam? Back to jail?
Well, that's the law. The law has to be followed, and she'll be put back in jail. Yeah.
$38 a day. I'm just telling you. I'm just being a devil's advocate here. It costs us $38 a day. 4 times 3 is $1,200 a month. Give or take a little bit. That's the price of justice.
Aren't they making Polk County inmates now pay for their stay?
Yeah, Frank. That works real good. Yeah, those folks in jail, they got lots of money for restitution.
No, I mean after
I don't
they're
know.
out.
To be honest with you, I don't know. They should. But an OWI, the only thing more expensive than an OWI is usually a divorce. OWIs cost you thousands and thousands and thousands of thousands and thousands of dollars because they want to get you.
Well, and to some degree, I think that's right. I mean, it's a good thing. Drinking and driving kills people. People die when irresponsible individuals get drunk and drive their cars.
No. Don't you say that way. We're not irresponsible. Alcoholics are not irresponsible.
Well, it's not responsible.
Well, I'm not going to get down that line. I'm not defending her by any way, shape, or form. I'm playing devil's advocate. I think she should have gone to jail. She broke her probation. The judge said don't drive. Not only did she drive, but she was found driving drunk. What else do you do with that person? She's going to court for killing 2 people while she's drunk. That's allegedly. So, but don't. It's not irresponsible people. It's. You're going to make me go down this road, aren't you? It is a sinful nature that causes us to go to the bottle, and when we drink, we act irresponsibly. See, you're what I call a norm. You're what we call a normie. Okay,
right. But just to be clear, I heard you say it was irresponsible to get behind the wheel of a car if you're drunk.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Yes, but you said irresponsible people. And
right.
Just because you act irresponsible doesn't make you irresponsible. Okay, just because
I'll split that hair with you. That's fine.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
All right.
I'll give you that. I mean, it's not. I don't want to say that this person needs to be condemned forever, but it was a bad choice.
It was a very bad choice.
Yeah,
and it was against the law. So
right.
She's in jail. No, I don't look for. I haven't become some advocate for alcoholism or whatever, but I do understand it.
Sure.
And most people who overconsume alcohol. Here, let me put it this way. Poison ivy.
Okay.
You know what it looks like?
Honestly, no. I'm pretty bad about spotting it.
Okay. So if you're in your backyard playing with Katie, and all of a sudden you find the two of you are literally rolling, okay, and you know what's going to happen to you now, right?
Yeah.
You're going to get that little pink stuff all over your body, and it's going to itch, and it's going to drive you crazy, and it's just going to be horrible. You will probably, now that you can identify what it looks like, you'll never touch poison ivy again.
Hopefully, yeah.
An alcoholic says, I think I can probably roll in the clover over there again. I don't think it'll be as bad as last time. We'll just try. And then it's horrible. And there's something in our brain until we surrender our will and our life to the care of God. That's an actual statement from the program. We're going to continue to make poor decisions. All right, please don't anybody hear that I'm not defending this woman at all. She should be where she is. Frank? Never mind. All right, 17 after the hour. We're coming up on a hard break. When we come back, Governor Terry Branstad said yesterday, remember that guy we had in last Tuesday, Senator Dave Johnson?
Yeah.
He said he is rejecting the presidential candidate of Donald Trump and the GOP party. Guess what Branstad said about it today?
What?
We're going to tell you when we come back.
I gotta
next,
wait.
Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10 on Truth Network 99.3 FM. I interview common everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
Hey everybody, I brought Northern Lights Pizza! And it's got Graziano sausage!
Rock and Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens, rock on! This is Pat McManus for Rock and Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
.21 after 3 o'clock, 3:21, 20th day of June in the Lord's year, 2016. I have to admit, with Father's Day last weekend, I if I sat here and told you about the weekend I had, you would absolutely know how blessed I feel. But I wasn't going to talk about that right now. What I was going to talk about was Seth's Father's Day, and he's a parent. And
you didn't drag him along with you.
No. And I realized that there are so many questions or observations on a property, because I think I'm pretty sharp when it comes to property. Not. Scale of 1 to 10. Seth is at a 9.999. I'm at about a 5. Maybe 5.1. So I'm writing down all these questions that I have about these properties, and I'm thinking, people used to write these questions out and ask me about that. And here I don't know them. And that's why I knew that I did the right thing by hiring Seth Walker. I'm in the process of looking for some properties. I thought I'd just go out and do it myself, like I always do, Couldn't do it. I'm so blessed to have him. Seth Walker, 577-3728. Before I tell you what Governor Branstad thinks about Dave Johnson, I got to tell you about a God moment.
Yeah.
So there's a new doctor and his wife and 2 boys and a girl and a soon-to-be daughter-in-law that moved here to DMU. And he joined my Bible study on Tuesday morning. And one of the things I like to do is I love to show off Des Moines. I moved here in 1978, and I just can't believe what we've done in those 40 years, almost 40 years. Happy day of summer.
Thanks.
My atheist pagan friend reminded me that it was the Sallust or whatever it is. Anyway, so what we did on Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. in the morning, we all piled into this big old Ford van with 3 rows of seats, air conditioning that was pretty good, and we drove 213 miles in 6 hours. Just took them all around Des Moines. It was a ball. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Then, when I got done, I called a friend of mine who's going through a bad, ugly divorce. Lots of money, lots of terrible things, young kids involved. And he was just angry. And I understand that, He is a follower. But, sometimes it's just that tough. So he wanted to go down to Beer Fest. And you know what Beer Fest is? You pay $30 and you drink all these different beers and all right. Well, obviously, why would I go to Beer Fest? It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's hot. It's sunny. I don't have my ball cap with me. But I say, all right, let's go. Don just needs something. So we get down there and we park, cross the street, walk across this parking lot. And I hear somebody call my name. And I turn around and it's Pastor Dan Rude from Walnut Creek Church.
Yeah, cool.
He's been on the radio with us.
Yeah, he sure has. Sat in this very chair and talking into this microphone.
And he invited me into the service, which was starting in about 20 minutes. All right, maybe 25. And I've never been to a Walnut Creek service. I've never heard him preach. And so I followed Don around, and he got his beers, and he was drinking it, and he wasn't helping me feel bad, But Greg from the go that church.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Sat in this chair, talked into this microphone.
Yeah, he comes up and gives me a big old bear hug, and if you know Greg, those are real bear hugs because he's a big boy.
Yeah.
And he said, "You coming into the service?" I said, "Well, I'm not the driver here. I'm riding with Don, and he doesn't want to go." And all of a sudden, Don looked at me and said, "Oh, fine, I'll go." Well, I said to Don, it's a God thing. It's a God thing that right now, right here and now, in the mood that you're in, you went and drank your beer. It didn't help, did it? No. So I said, let's go into the service. Wow. First of all, it was a very good service. Music's a little loud because I'm getting old, I guess.
Sure.
But I got to tell you, Dan Rude, he preached one heck of a sermon. He preached a 45-minute sermon on the 8th commandment, thou shalt not steal. Now, what is stealing to you? Like right here, I go over and I take a pair of scissors and I cut Frank's ponytail off. I've just ponytail.
I would guess so, yeah.
Yeah, or you go into a store and you want some gum and you don't have any money, so you just put it in your pocket.
Sure.
There's so much more God meant when he said, thou shalt not steal. What we really steal, it's not gum. What we really steal is people's identity. We humiliate them. We lie to them. We tell them that their values aren't important because we don't respect those values. I have never heard a sermon done so well. Because when he started out, today we're preaching on the 8th commandment, thou shalt not steal. I thought, and I'm in the front row, or second to the front row. You know me, I always sit up front.
Yeah.
So at this point, I really can't slither out. I suppose I could have got on the ground and done that army crawl, But I just sat there. And I said, God, you brought us here. I know you brought us here. It was no accident. What are we to learn? And without going into too much detail, Dan starts talking about how we steal from each other in relationships. Not time or treasure. Well, I'm sorry, not treasure, but time, integrity, identity. And if my buddy just didn't sit there and weep because he realized now how he felt about what was happening. He was getting time from his children stolen from him. He was getting mornings, hugs and kisses as the kids went off to school because they're all that young, stolen from him. He knows that he's going to have birthdays and holidays and Christmases and Thanksgivings and graduations and marriages and babies that are probably always going to be a little uncomfortable. Always going to be a little uncomfortable. And rather than being angry, he became sad because he realized that he was really being stolen from things that he could never, ever get back and that were absolutely priceless. So congratulations to Dan Rude. God used you the other night. We had communion. It was absolutely wonderful. It was really a very nice service, and it was cool because at 5 o'clock on Saturday night, it was 94 degrees. And I stayed out till 7:30 on a Saturday night. Aren't you proud of me?
Wow. You didn't even melt or turn into a pumpkin or anything.
Well, I lost about 2 pounds of water weight, I think. All right. You have a request from one of our listeners.
Speaking of a God thing, I would say that you have the opportunity right now, listener. You have the opportunity to be the hands and feet, at this point, the mouth of God, in a sense. I need to hear from you. 99.3 is looking for an auto mechanic. I need you to recommend to me an auto mechanic right now. Call us at 515-244-0077, or you can send us a text at 515-809-0993. We're looking for an auto mechanic, preferably in southeast Des Moines, Iowa. So why are we looking for that? Well, regular listeners know that every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. we air a program called the Christian Car Guy radio program. And through that, there's something called the Jesus' Labor of Love program, which is designed to provide no-charge car repair labor for single moms and widows and other people in crisis. And just recently, an Iowa listener emailed in and sent this request. This is a quote. This listener said, I have a bad rotator and brake. I don't have the $350 to fix. I am on disability and have 4 kids. I'm new to Iowa and not knowing anyone, just wondering if I qualify and can get you guys to help me. So we have a lady, single mom, 4 kids. She's on disability. It's going to cost her $350 to get she said rotator and brake. I guess someone's
That'd be rotor.
I'm sorry, rotors.
Not like rooter, just rotors.
No, rotor. Thank you.
No rooter with the rotors.
This is why we need an auto mechanic, because I'm not one. I can't do this. And
Taco Cat.
So if you know an auto mechanic, preferably in southeast Des Moines, that's where this listener is.
Well, now, wait a minute. Hold on, though. This could be somebody who works out of his own garage on the weekend. You know what I'm saying?
It could be.
It doesn't have to be an auto mechanic shop.
It could be. Yeah, absolutely. We work with the Jesus Labor of Love program, which is a ministry of the Christian Car Guy, which is a ministry of the Truth Radio Network, so our radio station. we work with auto mechanics in a special way. So if you know an auto mechanic, I would love them to be recommended to us. 515-244-0077. Call in and let us know. You can tell Jeb who the auto mechanic is. If you want to give him a free shout out on the radio, you can, or you can send us a text. 515-809-0993. We're looking for an auto mechanic here in Des Moines that can help out this young single mom.
Frank, could you do that?
Yeah. Did you?
I mean, you're pretty good with auto mechanics, aren't you?
I wouldn't. Yeah, but I wouldn't put somebody else's life.
Oh, okay. Just your own and your mother's. I get it.
Did you the first time say Southeast Iowa?
I'm sorry. Thank you, Frank. Southeast Des Moines.
Oh, okay.
So this is a listener. This request came from a listener. So this is someone right here in our listening area. So if you can hear me, this person can hear me, and if you have an auto mechanic, please recommend them to us. We're just looking to connect this lady with someone that can help, that wants to help. I'm sure you go to a great car mechanic, someone that you know, the guy who works on your car is a believer, and you know that he would be happy to do this. Give us a call. You can send us a text, 515-809-0993. I can get everything organized from there. 515-244-0077. You can call and just tell Jeb. Either way, we'd really love your help. This is an opportunity for you to help us extend the hands and feet of Jesus right here in our community.
Yeah, and I know. I don't know. I just feel like the person that's going to respond to this is going to be just a regular Joe who knows how to do this.
It could be. Absolutely. Sure.
Yeah, we just need, and we don't know who this woman is. We don't know her name. We don't know her contact information. It came through our website. And so if this is...
we do know all that, but all that's private and secure. I'm not going to give that.
I didn't know we knew that.
We do. We know. We have all the contact information. We can help this lady. This is not just a random request. So what we need, though, is I need to know a mechanic that would be willing to help her. So that's what I'm looking for our listeners to step up and recommend their auto mechanic.
Well, isn't the mechanics supposed to sign up with this program that you have on Saturday morning?
Yes.
And be part of that network?
Yes. And there's benefits to doing that. We actually have, the Jesus Labor Love program actually has some funds that we can use to help with certain cases. So this is a good thing for the auto mechanic, for them to get connected with us. This is something we've never really put out on the radio much before other than on Saturday mornings. But when requests like this come in, Frank, I just think, we don't. I have an auto mechanic. My mechanic. I'm gonna run this by him. But not all the time do auto mechanics are they willing to help out.
Sure.
But there are some that are willing to help out, and it's a worthwhile thing.
And the program is they only charge the parts. They forgo the labor.
Right. They only charge for parts. They donate the labor. And again, this is at their convenience. Right, the auto mechanics at their convenience when they have time to do this, and if there are parts issues that become a real heavy burden, there are funds as well as we can help that out. So anyway, we'd love a recommendation if you got one. 515-809-0993 is the line to text. Thanks.
Governor Terry Branstad said this morning he believes Senator Dave Johnson of Iowa has made a mistake by rejecting the presidential candidacy of Donald Trump. Johnson, who has served 18 years, was on this program just 6 days ago, announced earlier this month he's changed his party registration from Republican to no party to protest Trump. Branstad said, I think he's made a mistake. I would love to have him reconsider. That's what Branstad told reporters this morning. The governor noted that Johnson represents a heavily Republican area in northwest Iowa and said the presidential selection process attracted a tremendous amount of people to the GOP. All right. When we come back, what's your thought on Prairie Meadows? They are in trouble. I mean, they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. If you haven't heard by how much, it's about $60 million. $60 million they're going to owe.
Drop in the bucket.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we come back live here on The Truth.
Northern Lights Pizza's amazing garlic butter makes amazing breadsticks. Now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza. I'm Brian Leach, owner of Service Legends, and my position is Chief Talent Officer.
I'm Nicholas Wonderscheid.
I am Bernie Hobbs.
And I'm the Service Manager.
Marketing Director and Client Relations Manager.
Everything that we do is about ensuring that we exceed your expectations.
Our clients are important to us. 100% satisfaction.
We're not just focused on heating and cooling. That's the easiest part of our job, actually, is fixing furnaces and air conditioners.
Everyone that we come in touch with, we want to improve lives.
Bottom line is, we've got our installation guarantees, 25% energy savings guarantee, comfort guarantee, temperature selection guarantee, property protection guarantee.
100% satisfaction guaranteed. Fixed rate or it's free.
All of those guarantees are backed up with a 100% money-back guarantee to hold ourselves accountable to making sure that you get what you're after.
Just fixing the problem today. If they have another problem 5 days down the road, it's still fixed rate or it's free.
We use what's called straightforward pricing. Our technicians are going to give you an exact to-the-penny price on what it's going to take before they move forward with any repair. That way you know what to expect.
It's the same price every day.
No surprises.
If you get off work at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you come home, you realize that, oh, my furnace is broken. Now you need to call somebody out that night. You shouldn't have to pay more for that.
We're guaranteeing service 24/7.
We run afternoons, evenings, nights, weekends. We're staffed to work that.
Phone rings at 3 in the morning. You'll get one of our representatives answering the phone every time.
We're not sending you out to Timbuktu in some call center. It's our Service Legend team members, our mission control team.
I'll take a call anytime.
And then they answer the phones the same way during the day as they do at night.
It's a great day at your service company. How can we make you smile?
That's the only way to provide true 24-hour service.
When you're able to let somebody actually live in their home safely when they weren't able to do that before, where they don't have to stay up at night and worry about, is the heat going to come back on? Are we going to freeze the pipes? Is the baby in the room next door going to be sick because they got too cold? When you're able to help somebody overcome challenges like that, that's impacting a life. That makes a difference. I get goosebumps thinking about it.
I love the team. I love the people that I work with.
We have fun, but we work hard.
I call them my ambassadors of legendary service. If you could just envision what that is, that's who we're sending to your home.
They literally will call in, pick up the phone and call and say, hey, I want to talk to your manager. And I get on the phone, they're like, that technician that was at my house was the greatest technician ever. That's cool to me.
We want to brighten people's days.
Every person that we have going into the house has gone through an extensive background check.
Drug testing, we have a very thorough interview process that 1 out of 140 people make it through.
If we promise you something, that's what you're going to get, no matter what.
We're here when you need us to protect the safety and comfort of your family.
If you're not happy, we're going to make it right.
If we're willing to put 100% money-back guarantee on what we do, what type of work do you think we do?
Give us a call. We're there for you 24/7, 365 days a year.
Enough said.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
.338 in the afternoon, 22 minutes before the top of the hour. Salem Radio Network News at the top. And then Weiss Merkel Financial. Weiss Merkel Financial, as we talk about retirement today with your questions at 515-244-0077. You know, now more than ever, America needs a revival. And it's going to have to happen by the church. You know, the government's not going to come out one day and say, it's revival day across the nation. Everybody get revived.
I wouldn't put it past them.
So this is why I'm going to ask you to attend this year's Family Leadership Summit 2016 on Saturday, July 9th here in Des Moines. The event will feature Anne Graham Lotz, of course, that's Billy Graham's daughter, War Room actor T.C. Stallings, and biblical worldview expert Dr. Del Tackett. Tackett is worth the time anyway. I mean, I can't be there because I have a class reunion that I have to go to. No, I really have to. I have to do something there. They've asked me to do something. The tickets are free, by the way. You can get your tickets today at thefamilyleader.com. Give them a call and claim your tickets. Our listeners are awesome, aren't they?
Oh, Mac, wow. Over the break, our phones lit up, and we had several recommendations for auto mechanics that came in. I'm honestly moved. I'm just very thankful for all of our listeners. If you missed what I was saying, we've got a listener here in the Des Moines area, single mom, has 4 kids, needs her car worked on, and we're looking for an auto mechanic to be recommended to her station to get connected with this young lady so that we can help her out. And just thank you so much. Again, if you have another recommendation, more the better, because we're going to talk to different people, see if who can help her out. You can give us a call still at 515-244-0077 to recommend a Des Moines area auto mechanic, or you can send us a text, 515-809-0993. This is one of the really cool things about our listeners and how much they care and how much we can show the hands and feet of Jesus to our community. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. 515-244-0077. Here's the question. We've got about 20 minutes to talk about this before Weiss and Merkel come in. Prairie Meadows, are you happy? Are you happy that they've got their hand in the cookie jar? Reclaiming tax-exempt status is only the start of Prairie Meadows' battle against the IRS. I mean, battle against the IRS right there just gives me chills. If Prairie Meadows wins that fight, the nonprofit racetrack and casino still faces a potentially greater threat. The IRS contends that slot machines, table games, hotel, restaurant, and non-racing revenue streams should still get taxed as unrelated business. That according to an IRS audit last week. That could be even worse result, threatening its existence as a viable operation. Either scenario would be bad news for Central Iowa local governments and charitable organizations, which receive tens of millions of dollars from Prairie Meadows each year. The IRS report argues first and foremost that the full operation should lose tax-exempt status and pay up to $60 million in back taxes and penalties owed from 2012 to 2014. If Prairie Meadows successfully appeals that effort, another set of arguments makes the case that its 501c4, it's not a C3, it's a C4, nonprofit status applies only to horse racing. People have been saying this, Chris, for years. I mean, the anti-gambling people, Tom Coates, anti-casino people, Tom Coates, says that they can't do anything but pari-mutuel racing out there. He said that for years. Polk County Supervisor Angela Connolly said both of the looming threats from the IRS would be troubling for the casino and the greater Des Moines area. Now, last Friday, it got dirty. As of Friday afternoon, Angela Connolly says she hadn't read the full IRS report on the casino's response. She also questioned what substantial role the county can play in the pending judgment. Here's why the taxing everything except horse racing at Prairie Meadows could be devastating. Horse racing loses money, $23.6 million in 2014 alone, according to financial data provided by Prairie Meadows. Creating a tax-exempt silo around the racetrack would mean those losses cannot be claimed as tax deductions for the casino. Plus, last Friday, the whistleblower was named, but not publicly, just to the casino. And the whistleblower's name is a big name. I mean, it's not Jose the jockey. I think they are doing wrong. I'm going to go tell them. No, this is a name. Somebody who just got fed up with trying to figure out how to whip Prairie Meadows in shape. And he finally went to the... Well, I just said he. That person went to the IRS.
That's at least 50% of the human race.
That person went to the IRS and said, here's what I think's going on. And sure enough, they looked in it, and there we go. 515-244-0077. What do you think? Are you one of those anti-gambling people? You didn't want the casino out there. You didn't want that. You believe the things that Tom Coates and some of those people say about what it does to our community. 1-800-BETS-OFF, the whole 9 yards. And now, is this justice? Is it vengeance? 515-244-0077. I want to hear what you think, and I think we'll give Tom a call.
One of the things that I think Tom brought to my attention last time we talked about this kind of in detail was one of the things is sort of the unfair sort of double standard of the whole thing. If you have, because they have hotels, you can stay there at Prairie Meadows and things like that, and because they are a nonprofit 501c4, they don't have to have the same kind of financial burdens that a regular hotel or resort would have in the area. So that affects people, and that's they're making money the same way than any other business would, but they've got sort of this unfair advantage of the shelter. So the way I understand this, and Frank, maybe you understand this better than I do, but they were given the 501c4 status for the horse racing, and they use that then to protect themselves on the rest of the stuff.
Yeah, it must have been. And I don't even know why they got the 501c4 status for the horses.
I think it's according to this article that Mac just read a few minutes ago, from what I understand, it's because the horse racing is a losing money proposition.
Yeah, $23.6 million in 2014 alone.
So they don't really make money on the horse racing somehow, and I don't understand how that works. This is not my industry.
Then why did Polk County fund it with taxpayer promises to pay for it if they knew it was a losing proposition from the get-go?
Now, that's a smart question, too. I don't really understand the Prairie Meadows thing, to be completely honest with you. It seems odd that it's happening now. Now it's coming out. This has been a part of the community for such a long time.
515-244-0077. Let's go to the phones where Anita is standing by. Anita, are you happy that Prairie Meadows has got their hand caught in the cookie jar?
Absolutely not.
Okay, tell me.
I am a woman who raised 4 children basically on her own on limited income. And I'm only going to deal with this part of it. If Prairie Meadows, in fact, had revenues of $2.16 billion and they gave Polk County $16 million, that is chicken feed. They could have done a lot better, and the Lord probably would have blessed them. They wouldn't find themselves in this, but they called themselves throwing out chicken feed to Polk County, which they gobbled up, and now they find themselves in a bad situation. So, no, I do not feel sorry for them, and I'm not happy about it.
So what do you think should happen?
I didn't give them any of my money anyway, but...
Good for you. But one more question before you leave. What do you think should happen?
I think they should lose their status as a 501c4.
And go out of business?
Well, it won't go out of business. They'll just get a whole new bunch of people in there, and maybe they can run it properly and fairly and honestly.
Ha! 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 That's the funniest thing I heard all day, Anita. All right, girl, I love you.
Know that I've had a fight with the IRS, and I agree with you, Max. I wouldn't go up against them because it's a no-win proposition, actually. Even if you're right and they're wrong.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
No, it's you don't mess with the IRS. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation on Prairie Meadows. I just want to know, are you happy that they got their hand caught in the cookie jar and it's going to cost them $60 million or more? Or are you sad because you own it? We're coming back live here on The Truth.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
Credit cards are like grandkids. They love you, sometimes get out of control, and it's fun to get a new one. Who can stop them from piling on?
Hi, I'm Tom Coates with Consumer Credit of Des Moines. At the end of the day, you can return the grandkids, but you're stuck paying off bad credit card debt. We'll help you put the fun back into using credit cards responsibly. Right, kids?
Yeah! If you need help getting credit cards off your back, call Consumer Credit of Des Moines.
Rockton Prevention is celebrating 25 years of creating a caring community. We want to say thank you to the tens of thousands of Rock High School mentors that have carried our message of health, love, and encouragement to over 1.5 million children, teachers, and parents. Our mentors teach children methods and skills to prevent bullying and drug use. Thank you to all the school administrators, teachers, and counselors for their opportunity to serve you. Rock on, fair citizens. Rock on. This is Pat McManus for Rockton Prevention, the Richard O. Jacobson Foundation, and this station.
Northern Lights Pizza, your home of the tasty crust. Our garlic butter sauce now available in 12-ounce bottles at Northern Lights, Hy-Vee, and Graziano's.
Northern Lights Pizza.
Hi, my name is David Burrier, your Hope Coach. I host a live weekly talk show called I've Been There every Thursday afternoon at 5:30, right here on webcast1live.com, and on my weekly radio program Saturday mornings at 10, 99.3 FM. I interview common, everyday people who have survived incredible life challenges and who testify to God's faithfulness in the midst of their storms. So join me as we bring a message of hope and encouragement. Everybody needs hope. I know, because I've been there.
From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live. From the RE/MAX Real Estate Concept Studios, this is Webcast One Live.
3:50, 10 minutes before the top of the hour. Top of the hour, Salem Radio Network News, and then Weiss Merkel Financial answering some of the questions that you have about retirement. They come on once a month or so and make themselves available free of charge to tell us about how to be smarter with your retirement. And I hope you're okay with these programs. You know, you guys did a good show on Friday, by the way. I listened to some of it. And what our listeners want to listen to is they want responsible programming about lifestyle, social content, little politics, a lot of Jesus, and Jesus is in all of those things. All of those things. So I was really pleased that the listeners, called in that way. I thought it'd be better if I wasn't on the air, and then, I wasn't me that they were talking to.
Bob got a good text on that Friday.
What was that?
Which one?
The one that's...
Frank, just tell us what it is. He doesn't have it in front of him.
Well, it was saying that we was doing a good job with what we were doing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, let's go to Tom Coates real quick at 244-0077. Tom, thanks for making yourself available today. $60 million is what the IRS says the Prairie Meadows owes in back taxes. Give us your 5-minute take on this thing.
Well, $60 million, they might settle for less, and it also doesn't includes 12, 13, and 14. I don't see that it includes 15 or 16 in that number. And if they protract this on out, Mac, there's two different ways they could go. The appeal process with the IRS will likely not be successful. And that could be over with within a matter of 6 months. But then they probably will head down the legal route. And my understanding from people that know a lot more than I do says that the likelihood is if they go down the legal route, they'll have to pay the tax bill before they can get into the appeal. Now, I don't know that they've got tens of millions of dollars just sitting around idle that they can do that. So it does create a real problem. And the only reason that I can see that they didn't mess with the horses, which are costing them $20 to $25 million a year in expenses, is that was the way they shoehorned themselves into the 501c4 in the first place. The 501c4 was initially approved for the horse track, and then they headed in there, and pretty soon they became a full-fledged casino with hotels and restaurants and everything else. So that's the reason. People wondered for years why they didn't stop putting out that kind of money for the horses. Well, they couldn't afford to because it was the cover for the scam that allowed them into the nonprofit in the first place. And you'll notice, like we said before, there's only 2 nonprofit casinos in the whole country, and there should be 0. And there soon will be 0.
Hey, Tom, I had Bob look up on a website that he had to properly almost give a DNA sample to get into. But it says that Prairie Meadows' annual revenue is $2.1 billion. $60 million a drop in the bucket for them?
No, it's not. And Frank, you need to understand that the difference between gross revenue for a casino and adjusted gross is mountains of world difference. That's gross revenue. Now, maybe their slots pay out 90%. So you take 90% of the gross, because that's put back into the pockets of the players, and maybe only roughly 10% would go to the net. And, of course, it's slot. Over 80% of casinos' revenue all over the country, not just Prairie Meadows, comes from the slot machines. It never used to be that way. It was 20-80 the other way. But the table games and the poker and the roulette and all those things make up very little bit of money for them. Nearly all of it comes from the slot machines.
All right, now let me think like a 6-year-old here for a second. Who owns Prairie Meadows? We do. Well, you don't. You live in Warren County, but Polk County taxpayers, right?
Polk County is the landlord. That's right.
Well, are they the landlord or do they own the casino? In other words, here's what I'm trying to ask. Mm-hmm. Can the IRS go to the county, Polk County Board of Supervisors, and say, hey, hate to make a bad pun here, but hey, pony up. $60 million. You owe it. You owe it. You owe it. Pay me now.
I don't think so. Now, the money's been spread out. We talked about this before. The money's been spread out. They paid their rent to the Polk County every time it was due. For the last 11 years, they paid $6 million to the city of Des Moines. That, in essence, was bribe money. And then they distributed it to a number of different nonprofits and different people, and we can talk about why they did that. But again, along the lines of if they were a nonprofit, they needed to do something with the money. But I don't think they can go back to the county and say you owe us the money. They're just the landlords for Prairie Meadows.
They're just the landlords. So who holds the license? The Racing and Gaming Commission?
The Racing and Gaming Commission of the state of Iowa is the regulatory body that oversees the different licenses. But again, they're not responsible either. Now, there could be a scenario that would make the county and the city and Prairie Meadows itself liable. And I think you might at some point down the road see maybe a lawsuit that might hold them all accountable. But that's another issue.
Tom, this report shows that Prairie Meadows makes approximately $21 million a year in charitable contributions. And that 8 of their employees make in excess of $100,000, and their CEO, Gary Palmer, makes $710,000 in base pay.
Right, and that's part of the issue, Frank. When they did the executive compensation study, it was done all with for-profit casinos, because that's all there are really out there. They're comparable size. And so they compensated their executives like they would be compensated if they were working at a for-profit casino, which is one of those things that drew the attention of the whistleblowers and the IRS.
You know, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck and it looks like a duck, isn't it a duck? Isn't this just a bunch? Isn't this just a bunch of mobsters rigging the system? $750,000 in pay to run a casino in Altoona, Iowa. That's our money.
Man, yeah, I know, for the top man, and that's comparable to what he would make if he were working for a for-profit casino.
Well, guess what I'd make if I was Well, anyway. All right, listen, I'll see.
It is interesting, and it's interesting that finally it's gotten the kind of attention that it should. It should have gotten attention long ago. And the attention isn't over, because it will have repercussions from everything from the hotel that's being built downtown to the nonprofits and everybody else that's been suckling off the Prairie Meadows teat all these years. They're going to be upset. I don't blame them. But
do we know who the whistleblower is? Do we know we can take that name public yet?
Well, the Register has been trying to put it on Maggie Moss and Gary Kirk. I kind of don't believe either. I believe that when they say they weren't the whistleblower, I kind of believe they were not. It may have been, I'm told, somebody within the organization that had enough facts and figures to go to perhaps a professional whistleblowing company that then put it in front of the IRS. And as I described it the other day on your show, Max, it's like the modern-day bounty hunter.
Yeah.
They're going to get a big piece, millions of dollars of reward money.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. We'll see you tomorrow here in Mac's World. We're coming up on the top of the hour, live updated news. And then when we come back, we'll talk about an attempted abduction being reported at this hour here in Des Moines. We're coming back live, and thanks for listening to The Truth.